Now, before starting the video, what I want to show you is that by the end of this video, we will end up creating a interface where, as a user, we will share the input in the Telegram bot, and based on the AI and the logic that we will define, it will give an output. For for example, if I want to know what is inventory for SKU2, so we can see the output is 475. Let's try one more question. What is stock out days for SKU2? So stock out days are basically it's basically inventory divided by daily order quantity. And see the output, which is 15. So this is what we will end up creating at the end of this series. So just be with me and let's watch the next tutorial. Hello everyone. So welcome you to the second video of the series where we will create a project in supply chain, preferably in inventory management using AI as a fundamental parameters. So in the previous lecture, we talked about this one where we will have a input that is coming from CSV or the Excel file, and there is second parameter that is user input, which as a user you will only give. Using user input and prompt engineering, we will feed it into the AI. This AI will extract the data from this database and will give a final output. This is how the flow would look like in our entire series. In this video, we will focus on three important parameters. The first is the installation of the Visual Studio, and we'll create a data for that. Now, using the data which we have already created in the Excel file, we will convert it into a database, and finally connecting this database with a SQLite. Now, I'll explain everything in detail in this video. So starting with the very first part, that is installation of Visual Studio. So go to online, search for this one, code.visualstudio.com, and download it. Okay, once you download it, this will look like something this. Okay, it would be an open one, don't worry about this. Go to extensions, type Python. Okay, it may take some time. Okay, this one, and click on install. So I'm already using it, so it's basically installed for me, but for those who are installing it for the very first time, make sure to install this. So this is the first part that we've already completed. The second part is creation of a data. So I've already kept down this data. So if you see, this is a SKU, which could be very different from the data that you are using it. This is a current inventory for them. This is a daily order quantity. This is expiry date, and this is a unit price for them. Okay, you can choose any other data whichever suits you. But for the simplicity's sake, stick to this data for this project. Okay. Now save this data in one of the folders. So what you can see that I've already created a folder, okay, on desktop known as Python, under Python supply chain inventory AI, okay, and have saved this Excel data, okay, here only. Now go to this one, Visual Studio, okay, open the folder wherever you want to save this file, and open it. Okay, this is open, and you can see your grocery data here itself. Okay, now coming back to the requirement, if you see, we talked about three things: installation of the Visual Studio and the creation of data. We already covered this. Okay, now the idea is to convert this data into a database. So if you go to this particular video, okay, we have created data in the Excel sheet. The second task is to feed this data into a database. See, the Python cannot communicate with your data in an Excel format. There is a format called as data frame in which only the Python can communicate. So idea is to convert this Excel file or the Excel data into a data frame. So what I'm trying to create is a database. Database is simply a big Excel file. Okay. And there are multiple tabs into it. We are naming it as report 1, report 2, and report 3. So what I'll do is I will create a bigger database and move this entire data in from the Excel sheet into one of the reports. So for example, if you're working on it's two Excel files, so three Excel file, you can have multiple report, one, two, or three. But in this video, we will stick to only one database and one report only. Okay. So go into this Visual Studio. Okay, click on this. So we'll create a new file known as load underscore csv.py. Now py is an extension of Python. So wherever if you see .py file, it means it's a Python file. Okay. So what we will do is I'll just to have a better visibility. Okay, I'll keep this one next to our codes. Okay. So we have done this one. Okay, we have created an Excel file. Okay. Now we need to convert this Excel into a database. But before going into this, see, we will have to write something. Now assume Python as a like a phone. Now on a phone you can reach out to everyone. But in order to reach out to anyone, you need to first have a call. So this is what we need to have here is we will import SQLite 3 and import pandas here just to work it out. Okay, if you don't understand, just write it here as of now. Okay, now what we are now, since we already have this conversation that we will move this Excel file into a database. So I'm defining one database known as grocery data.db. Okay, the name of the database is grocery.db. Just for the sake of not missing it out. Okay, now see, this moving the Excel file into the database and connecting it to the SQLite. Now these two steps will be done in one single work. So I'm defining a function known as dv load csv to SQLite. Okay, now how I'm going to explain you this is, see, again it's the same analogy of phone call. Okay, so for example, if we're going to talk to someone, okay, so the operator is similar to network. Your dv path is your contact book, and your Excel file or the data is your phone number. Okay, so in order to connect to the network, first you need to save your phone number into the contact book, and from contact book you will connect it to the network in order to call anyone. So it's the same thing that I'm doing here. What I'm trying to do is the very first thing is to convert this Excel file, okay, into a data frame, because we already talked that in order to have a communication of the Python with your database, it cannot do the same thing in the Excel format. It has to convert it into a data frame. So this is the data frame xdf1. Now the data in the grocery data is converted into the data frame. Now the now the Python can actually communicate with your Excel sheet. Okay, now moving this grocery df1 as report. There could be multiple Excel sheets, so you can have report 1, report 2, report 3, and this is you know sorry this so these are the things when you are doing the first time you don't have any issue, but when you are doing for second or third projects, obviously most of the times names remain same. So that could be issue, and that is why I'm saying that if there is any file known as report, replace that everything with this one df1. Okay, so if you're going to do it for the very first time, there won't be any issue, but if you're going to do it on a repetitive basis, this could be some issues. So just writing it down. Okay, now closing the connections. Okay, now once you have done this, you need to check if the data has been uploaded in the right format. Okay, so what we have done here is in this particular file or in this particular function is you look to have from this perspective. So here is, adding comments that converting Excel data into data frame. Why? Because Python cannot communicate with your Excel data, so it has to be converted into a data frame. Okay. Now, once you have connected it in a data frame, moving this df1, okay, as a report, which is visible here as a report, okay, and fading into SQLite. Okay. So what basically it is doing is it is converting the df1 into a report, and it is moving it into this db path, which db path is getting connected to these connections, and we are closing the connection. So this Excel file has been renamed as report one, which is visible here. Okay. Now this report one has been moved into this db path, okay, using this connection. Okay. And this connection has been closed. So you have done these two steps, that is converting your Excel file into a report one and moving this report into your SQLite. Now if you have done this, okay, you will obviously run this. So if you want to call any function in Excel, okay, see, these are some of the syntax which you need to remember. Even if you don't know, you can go to ChatGPT or Gemini, and you can load all these things. Okay. So your function is complete. Okay. This is your the video tools only source code that you need to understand. Even if you don't understand anything, you just need to ensure that if your file name is grocery underscore data dot xlx, rename the same thing here. Okay, that's it. Whatever the grocery db name you want to define, you define it. There is not an issue with that. Now in order to run this, go to this one and add terminal for this. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it will show you the file. For example, you are working on this desktop Python in supply chain inventory AI, that will be the same file name. If you're not working on this, reach out to this, because only in this your file is being saved, and that is why you should run your program here only. Also, if you try to run this data file somewhere else, don't run. So reach out to this particular place. Now, since if you are downloading it for the very first time, make sure to install some of the things. Okay, so for example, if you run this, you will get an error that panda is not installed if you are running it for the very first time. So just install it. Okay, I think I've already installed it, so that there is no issue with this. Okay, so already satisfied, there is no issue with this. Also, install this one, pip install open pyxl. Okay, there could be some error, that is why I'm giving you beforehand, so that you should not get panic. Okay, now comes the time. Okay, so if you want to run this file, write python load csv.py, whatever is your file name. If you have written it's load underscore excel, write it as load underscore excel.py here, and just press enter. Just let me save it, control s. Okay, sometimes there could be some error. Sorry. We don't have any file. Yeah. So what we can do here is close this. Okay, reopen it and use it. I've just reopened it. I don't know why it was not working. So if that is a scenario with you, save the file and then close the terminal, close the Visual Studio, and then again reopen it. Okay. Sometimes we have this sort of issues. It is taking some time to, coming live. Just wait for it. Okay, it's live one. Just write Python. I'll just maximize this. Okay. Python load csv.py. Why load csv.py? Because it's a file name. If you have written it as load underscore excel.py, write the same thing here. Okay, and press enter. So you can see here right now that if this function is successful enough, we will get this as an output. You can write anything in your output. Okay, so this file has been uploaded in the database, and the database has been connected with the SQLite. Now, if you want to see, or if you want to fetch directly data from SQLite, okay, so you can check this one if that connection has been done properly. Is, sorry, grocery underscore data db. So this is a your db path. So if you have named it as grocery.db, write the same thing here. If it's grocery underscore data.db, write the same thing here. Okay, and press enter. So you can see, you can write syntax. So for example, if you want to select everything from report, okay, and limit 5, just press enter and you can see, you can everything. So your connection has been done. So just to summarize this one, we created an Excel sheet, we fed the data into the database, we name it as a grocery underscore data.db. Okay. Now how we have done it? We have converted this grocery data into a data frame. Now move this data frame into the database using this one con connection. Okay. And this con connection has been a part of SQLite, that is a networking part. Now in the end, you can see if you want to run it. So just a quick recap, in the sense, we have the data in Excel format, we converted it into a data frame. This is the line we have converted into a data frame. Now with this, move this data frame into the database. What is a database? That is grocery underscore data.db, where this is the line. And this grocery underscore data.db is connected to the SQLite. Okay. So this is a function. If you, even if you don't understand the function, it is all fine, as long as you understand. If your file name is say abc.xlx, replace the same thing here. Okay. In order to run this, type python under space load.csv.py. So this is our execution code, and once you have done this, run this one to see if the database has been connected with SQLite. And we have done this, so this part has been done. Okay. In the next video, we will see user input and the movement to the prompt engineering. All the best. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it, comment it, and subscribe it.